नमः। ॐ नमोऽस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा। ॐ कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। श्री सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, कृष्ण भगवान की जय। गीता माता की जय। We are discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 5th chapter, and yesterday we saw the 12th sloka and also a little on 13th. 12th says, युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिम् आप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते. The united one, the well poised or the harmonized, having abandoned the fruit of actions, attains to the eternal peace. The non-united only, the unsteady or the unbalanced, impelled by desire, attached to the fruit, is bound as it were. He is bound to the cycle of birth and death, to the world, and he is bound to suffer. 13th says, Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vasi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. Mentally renouncing all actions and self-controlled, the embodied one rests happily in the nine-gated city, neither acting nor causing others to act. Others means body and senses. Others means not other persons in your personality, body and senses. That also implies to mind, fourfold mind, everything. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vasi. Sarva karmani, all the actions we were discussing yesterday. So, all actions means the fivefold obligatories. They are, one is nitya karma. This we discussed yesterday. These are obligatory duties. Their performance does not produce any merit, but their non-performance produces demerit. You are bound to perform all of these daily routine works. Among that, Sandhya, Bandhana, etc. Sandhya we discussed in elaborate way yesterday. Sandhya Bandhan means one has to, the essential meaning is one has to remember the Absolute all the time, continuously, without any break. Sandhya is everywhere present, because every two has a juncture, and without making one into two, the creation is impossible. So wherever we see the creatory process or the multiplicatory process, there we find Sandhya somewhere or other, somehow or other. Without Sandhya, creation is impossible. So, literally, essentially, from analytical point of view, from all angles of vision, all round vision, is it? From all angles, when you consider the case of Sandhya and do Sandhya Vandan, that means you have to remember God at all time, in all conditions, without fail. That is called real Sandhya Vandan. But we are not so much aware of Sandhyas practically. We have done a mistake. What is that mistake? Original mistake, which gives rise to many other mistakes further. Then what happens? If you have done one mistake, what happens then? All other mistakes follow the original mistake. For example, always I say, my dear, you are solving some problems of algebra or something, arithmetic, some mathematical problem. Instead of multiplying the 10 into 3, making 30, you have forgotten to multiply, you have added 3 to the 10, and you have written 13 instead of 30. And further you follow the first line and go on writing correctly everything. All the lines then afterwards, compared to the first line, everything is right. But the consequence, the result, finally is wrong. In the beginning it was wrong, so finally it was wrong in the end. But comparatively in between, you are right. In this way, when we are in the nature, we have to follow the nature's laws, and we do follow. But yet, in the very beginning, we have done a mistake by identifying ourselves with the bodies. I am the body. And bodily, whatever right things you do, in the end that results in mistake only. Comparatively, as long as the body is there and your performance is there, of course you are right. You have followed all the rules and regulations of the nature. But nature itself is a wrong assumption. Nature itself is nature ever changing. So what have you done in the beginning? Accepting the nature. And in between, nature will take care. Nature does everything. But finally, the end is hopeless. This is how merits and demerits are not counted from the angle of above. From the absolute point of view, there is no meritorious act nor demerits. There is no punya na paap. सखियाँ वो घर सबसे न्यारा जहाँ पाप न पुण्य पसारा जहाँ दीन न रहीन जहाँ दूर न नजदीक, that is strangely different from all other abodes where the Supreme Self abides. It is different from all your imaginations. Your so-called sweet home has no sweetness there. So in this way, of course, as long as you are in the nature, in the clutches of nature, you have accepted this body as I. You do perform all these kinds of actions, and all these actions are called sarva karmani, total actions. It is renounced by mind of a realized soul. Realized soul is above the mind and intellect. So, mental renunciation is, of course, of paramount importance as long as you are in the clutches of nature. You have to go beyond nature by renouncing the nature. Nature starts with these actions and its fruits, action and reactions. So unless and until you go beyond all these, you cannot reach that abode, strangely different from all other abodes. The eternal abode, where the eternal self abides, Purushattam. Yes?
So, if you have to say relatively, for this purpose, mentally renouncing the actions, should we understand in a relative term it's a physical action?
That is, we are going to discuss. Why mentally? Why not physically? Does it mean also physical renunciation? Renouncing all the actions mentally. Why mentally? There is a formula. Advaitam sada bhavadvaitam sada kuriyat. Bhavadvaitam sada kuriyat. Kriyadvaitam na karichit. Advaitam trisu kalesu. Nadvaitam guruna saha. This is an eternal, very strong rule you have to follow when you are practicing Vedanta. Vedanta Vedanta says there is no world. It is not only physical or mental. You have to take it for granted in your heart of hearts. But physically, outwardly, in the action, you should not bring this non-dualism while acting. This is the rule. All the times, in all conditions, go on thinking of the absolute mentally within yourself. Don't express it. So you may question, should I act in a dualistic way? So is it not called crookedness?
The physical act is also not an act of mentality only. Then why
We are coming, my dear, have patience. Will not leave a single point. When it is taken for consideration, we shall see it from all angles. What is physical action, what is verbal action, and what is mental action, and what is inaction, what is action, we have discussed it, and how the action turns into inaction. The formulas we have seen, how to transfer it, how to modify it, all the rules we have seen, the points we have discussed. Why have we forgotten all this? When we discuss something, we have to take the previous discussions and the consequence of the previous discussions and what it refers afterwards. Then only the at present whatever we are discussing, that will be little perfect. It should be with reference of past and future. In the relative world, we cannot go by present without considering past and future. But beyond that, there is no past, no future. If at all time is there, it is only present. Always two sides you have to consider. Don't forget, don't be partial. You have to hear both the sides. Then you can give impartial judgment. What is a coin? It is both together, the head and tail. Don't see one side. Coin is not head nor tail, it is both together. Wherever there is light, there is darkness, because light is understood when it is compared with the darkness. If darkness is not there, there is no light. we understand inwardly because of our habitual intellectual performance. We compare and then we decide this is called light. It is already compared in a twinkling of an eye that we are not aware of. So now coming to our point, manasa, one has to renounce it mentally. That mentally includes verbally and physically also. Why? Because there is another formula. Manasi ekam, vachasi ekam, karmani ekam hatmanam. A real soul always acts with the what we can say oneness of mental, verbal and physical actions. They should coincide with each other. They should not differ from each other. If it is one, mentally, verbally and physically, such a person is considered as a wise man. On the other hand, the ignorant persons or the rogues or the cheats, they think something, they tell something else, such as our political leaders. They will not talk on points. They will divert your attention somehow or other. That is called crookedness. Of course, it is little required in the political field. Kutaniti, the crooked formulas. And that also is supported relatively. The crooked trees, they survive in the jungle, whereas the straight trees are cut by the needy people. The straight ones are cut fast. Nobody sees towards the crooked trees. And they also say, without bending your finger, you cannot take out ghee, butter from the bottle. They give examples. All these examples are accepted in relative world, not beyond that. So all these are followed by the worldly people. What are the worldly people called? Ignorant persons, deluded persons, confused ones. They have done a mistake in the beginning, and now whatever they do, everything is relatively right but absolutely wrong. This way, mental renunciation for a real soul also means verbal and physical. And for ignorant persons, mentally they don't renounce, but verbally they renounce. And physically also they pretend as if they have renounced everything. I gave the example of not touching money. Online you can pay to my account. I don't touch money. Google Pay. But the ignorant persons also, they don't renounce mentally. They pretend as if they have renounced everything. Mentally they are attached to the objects of senses. Verbally they may show something. Physically they may show something else. So mentally means for a wise man, it is all the three. Don't be confused. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyat. So sarva karmani we were discussing. First nitya karmas, they are sandhya, vandana, etc. belong to this category. Naimitika karma, the second. These karmas are performed on the occurrence of some special events, such as the birth of a son. You have to keep up your dynasty, or else you will be taken as a debtor. You have something to pay to your ancestors. They have given rise you, your body, and your life. They have protected your life. They have made you put in this world. So you have to give rise another one who will keep up this flow. Then only you will be free of debts. There are many kinds of debts. The whole country is under debt of some millions of dollars, some millions of thousands of dollars. So, for a newborn child, its share is on its head. I think everybody in India who is born, how much he has to pay? Some lakhs of debts he has to pay. In other countries it is too much. So in this way, everybody is subject to debt, and you have to pay back your debts. There are how many kinds? 5 kinds. Pancharina, Panchajagya we do. 5 types of sacrifices we have to do. That is to get rid of your debts. Every day one has to perform 5 kinds of debts, sacrifices, to pay back his debts. So when we drink, when we eat, when we walk, when we do everything, we cause some offense to others, knowingly, unknowingly. So see the Jainis, and they put mask over the always they put the mask because let not all these germs die when we inhale. Let not them die when we speak. That day, some small mosquito went inside my mouth. I was coughing and coughing. Unknowingly it happens. We don't harm others knowingly. But it is nature, you see. Everywhere, wherever good you do, the other side bad is with it. So you cannot escape from it. You are bound to do something wrong. And I gave you example. Even after observing Mauna, I committed mistakes. I uttered lies. See, one day I had Mauna and I was going for alms from the other village. And on the way, some friend, known person, was coming from the other side, from front. He stopped me, Swamiji. He touched my feet and stopped me, asking, where are you going? It is none of his business, but this is nature. So I just gave some hints. Oh, to the other village, he named 2-3 villages. How to express? I have nothing to write. I didn't want to write also. I wanted to avoid him, but he is not leaving me. He didn't allow me to go. Again and again he is asking, are you going to Naitala? I said, yes. But I was not going to Naitala. But I was forced to say yes, because I have to nod my head. Naitala is divided into 2 parts, Upper Naitala and Lower Naitala. Lower Naitala is known as Naitala. The Upper Naitala is known as क्या? क्या? नहीं, upper part of Naitala. That is named something else. I am just forgetting. There is other name. Khiliara. Khiliara. It has a special name. Everybody knows by it. And I had to say yes. In one sense it is right, but in other sense it is wrong. So I have to utter a lie, even though I was keeping Mauna not to do so. This is the force of nature. So you are bound to commit some mistakes. No life is without mistakes. Only one is beyond it, who is not the doer. He is the real soul.
Maybe five kinds of sacrifices.
Yes.
You did mention.
Rishi Rina. You have learned something from others, so you have to teach something to others. That is the payback. You have got a body by the grace of your ancestors, so you have to create another body to keep up the race. And ऋषि ऋण, पितृ ऋण, and स्वामी और क्या क्या है, 5 kinds of yajnas we have to do every day. We commit some mistakes where we keep the water pot. In the bottom of the water pot will be some insects. They are killed without your knowledge. So you have to do some prashchit by doing this. Matri-rin, yes, Matri-rin, Dev-rin, we are debtor to the gods without performing sacrifice, without paying back them something. We enjoy everything given by the gods. Gods means the supernatural identities, personified powers deputed to control some parts of the subtle nature, just as water and wealth or other items which are needed for the life of human beings and all other beings also. So this is how the gods, they supply your needs, so you have to pay back them something in return. They were in. In this way, 5 sacrifice one has to do every day. As prashchit. Prashchit, we shall discuss it. To do something in order to neutralize our mistakes. That is called prashchit. Not only repentance will do the needful. We are coming to it. So in this way, Naimitika karma, special events, all these are included in this. And then comes the kamya karma. These are optional actions. They are intended for the attainment of some special ends, for getting rain, for getting a child. In this way, some special desires. It is not ordinary, common, worldly desires. Some special desire. For example, we take the example of our Swamiji, who did Purasarana of Gayatri, Vidyarana Swamiji. He was a minister to some king in South India, Vijayanagar king. And for 12 years, for a pretty long time, there was no rains there. And people were dying with hunger. They had nothing to eat. There was famine. So the king was much bewildered what to do. And the minister, he was the chief minister. So he also felt the need of the hour. So he started doing Purasaranas, penance, doing mantra jap of Gayatri. He did Purasarans, means a particular way of performing the japa. Once if you do, it is told the deity has to appear before you. He did it 24 times. intensely, day and night, for the sake of the subjects of the kingdom, to protect them. The goddess Gayatri, the creative power, if will be pleased, she will do something. The natural force may turn back. On this hope, he performed 24 purachanas, and yet the goddess didn't appear before him. Because these types of super gods and goddesses, they don't appear before a person who has yet some demerits left, some sins left. Before a purely pure person, they can appear. That is the rule of nature. They are under the rules of nature, though they are the supreme governors, but they are yet bound to some laws. So the goddess didn't appear with anger, having failure in his such intense tapasya, austerities. He was bewildered. He renounced the kingdom and his home, everything. He took sannyas, renounced everything, and he went to the jungle to start the new life. I am not concerned with all this. There is no end to it. He had intense dispassion and he renounced everything, went to jungle having taken sannyas. When you take sannyas, all your sins are burnt off. That is our belief. Because you have left the relative world, so-called relative world, actions and results of it, all these are out of question now for you. It is ended in the dream, long dream. Now you are awakened. Dream is over. So all those merits and demerits of the dream is gone now. This way, when he goes to the jungles, after some time, the goddess appears before him. Goddess Gayatri. She was so much pleased and appeared before him, and with graceful, blessing mood, "My dear boy, ask me what do you want." This similar as our Nityananda Swamiji, Vidyananda Swamiji also told, "Get out from my sight. When I needed you most, you didn't come, and now I care a jot for you. Get out. My dear boy, don't be displeased. We are bound to certain laws. We cannot break down all those. We are not complete free. We are bound to certain laws of nature. You had some sins left, so we cannot appear before a sinner." What? One Puracharan destroys all the sins. That is what we had. And now I performed 24 times repeatedly. And yet some sins were left. What do you say? My dear, do you want to see? Yes. He put the screen, what do you call, where we see everything, the screen. Now क्या होता है वो? Projector before him and started the video of his actions and reactions and everything. So in the end of 24 Purasharanas, there was left 7 serious scenes, murder cases. Those were left to be deleted. And when he took sannyas, all the sins were burnt out. Now because of your sannyas, I could come before you. Now I am ready to fulfill your desire. The Vidyarani says, I have no desire left now. I have renounced the desires also. So go back. I have nothing to ask you. No, when gods or goddesses like me, when they appear, it becomes unfailing. We have to fulfill your desire. Some desire, something or other, you have to ask and I shall do it for you. It is amog. Amog means unfailing. So out of anger, of course that was not anger, but to unrule the rules. Vidyaranaji said, okay, I sit on this rock always to meditate, and I go from one jungle to the other jungle. When I go from one place to other place, carry this rock on your head and follow me wherever I go. The poor goddess has to do it because she gave words, I'll fulfill your desire, let it be anything. She did it. Of course, the story is lengthy. This is how sometimes we do some sacrificial actions for sake of others, for the happiness of others. That is called our kamya karmas, optional works. We are not concerned with it. We don't need fulfillment of our desires. It is only for others. So optional actions, they are intended for the attainment of some special ends like this. Yes. So in this way, kamya karmas and then nisiddha karmas, forbidden actions, don'ts. One should not do like this. Many such actions are there. If I tell a story, who did nisiddha karma, you will be maddened. Real story of a very rich man. out of ego, nobody will know it. He did something very serious mistake, and he had to suffer leprosy then and there. Intense forbidden action he did. Shall I tell you? He enjoyed his stepmother. What to? You cannot think. Rich people, nobody will raise their fingers against him. Nobody knows. But when he saw he is suffering from uncurable disease, he was bewildered. He went to some great Pandits, knower of the scriptures, and there was a meeting of such great Pandits in Banaras. He was from Calcutta, and he brought so much wealth to present them. But nobody could find out some reason for it. One old man, he could not speak it before audience, so he called the leprosy person to his home, closed the doors. All alone with him, he asked him, please don't fear. If you really want to know the reason of this disease, I shall tell you. Go on telling me all the mistakes you have done since your childhood, since you have got little awareness. Come on, I shall tell you what mistake is reason for this cause, for this effect. I shall tell you the exact cause for it. You have to frankly speak of all those. He went on telling, I did such thing, I did such mistakes, some sinful acts, this and that. He went on, whatever he remembered. Till the end, the old Pandit said, no, you are hiding something. Be frank. In the last, he said, this is what I have done. Stop, this is the reason. It is a serious mistake, unpardonable mistake. Nobody can save you from this mistake. These are called forbidden acts. And of course, he gave some way out. The story is lengthy. In the end, after trying a lot, suffering a lot, he could get rid of the disease. He had to suffer a lot, walking barefooted, begging, and telling his mistake before everyone, so that everyone shared by abusing him, shared the sins. And in this way he had to travel without anything, suffered, bearing all these abuses, having no complaint. So after a long time he his sin is distributed to thousands and he was saved. This was some intellectual remedies, but all these are never said anywhere in the scriptures because the Pandit was very experiential man. So this is how he saved him. Anyway, these are forbidden acts. Such serious blunders, they are intended to attainment of some Nisiddha karma. Nisiddha karma, these are forbidden actions such as theft, drinking, liquor, etc. Of course, tomorrow we shall see further. Now it is over. I shall tell you why all these are forbidden. Some instances. Why liquor is forbidden. The story of Sukracharya. He made a rule. He is one of the planets, the authority of action and reactions. He is entitled to give the results of your actions. So, he made the rule because of some wrong thing he did himself by drinking. And then he made the rule. This is the rule which will be followed by the sayings of Vedas. In the name of Vedas, this real rule is unfailing rule, hence today onwards. Nobody should drink liquor and then he will have sins. He has to suffer. He has to get the result of it. He did it himself and he realized this is a serious mistake. This should be forbidden in the society. That's why the story also is very interesting. Let us see tomorrow, if time allows, we shall go on with the stories. Nisiddha karma and some prashchita karmas, this also we shall see tomorrow. Actions performed to neutralize the effects of evil action or sins. Just as I told you, forbidden actions if you have done, there is way out, prashchit karma, how to neutralize it. Then only it is said, gahana karmana gati. The secrets of the rules and regulations of action and reactions, very hardly one can know. Very, very much deep and unknowable. How does nature act? We shall see tomorrow. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. गीता माता की जय। हरि